What's the deal, y'all? Tonight we gonna get into it. You cannot rush greatness. I don't care how bad you want it. I don't care how talented you are. I don't care how much pressure you think you under or how much time you think you've wasted. Greatness has its own timeline. And guess what? You are not in control of it. But what you are in control of is showing up, doing the work, staying in the fight when everything in you wants to give up and quit. That's it. That's all. Because here's the truth most people don't want to hear. The only way you can actually lose is if you quit. The only way you stop improving is if you stop moving. Everything else is just part of the process, the failures, the setbacks, the times when it feels like nothing's working in your favor. That's not losing. It's the opportunity to refine yourself by adjusting under the pressure. But here's the thing you got to understand we live in a world that wants everything fast, instant results, immediate gratification, shortcuts, hacks, and men get caught up in thinking they can bypass the transitional stage and skip the pressure, that they can avoid repetition and everything it takes to make it in life. That's why they keep falling short. You can't microwave mastery. You have to take the steps and stand on a foundation that's solid. Growth happens in layers. It happens through transition, through pressure, through doing the same thing over and over until it becomes second nature. Through internal evaluation, nobody can see and feel but you. That's the part most people miss. They're so focused on the external, the money, the status, the women, the car, the recognition that they ignore their internal value, where the work really happens and where your character is truly built. That's where your discipline becomes your identity and where boys turn into men. Personally, I failed more times than I can even count. I've reacted emotionally when I should have stayed cool. I've let my ego drive decisions that cost me major opportunities. I've been angry when I should have been more strategic than emotional. I've been in situations I should have walked away from quietly and didn't. But it was those emotional reactions that it'll make you feel justified in the moment, like you standing up for yourself and you not letting somebody disrespect you. You think you proving a point in your mind, but later, when the smoke clears, you gonna realize every time that it only cost you your peace and your reputation, and sometimes your freedom and your future. And that's when you actually learn. Because at some point, a man has to make a decision. Am I going to keep reacting like a child, or am I going to regulate like a grown man? Emotional intelligence isn't something you're born with, bro. It's something you develop through failure, through consequences, through realizing that anger doesn't solve problems, it creates problems. That ego doesn't protect you, it just isolates you. Violence doesn't make you strong, it actually makes you weak. Real strength is demonstrating restraint. Real power is staying calm when everything in you wants to blow up and explode. Real control is choosing not to react when someone's trying to press you or provoke you. That's maturity. That's evolution. And most men never get to that point because they never let go of the idea that they don't have to prove themselves. Protecting your peace is way more important. I've been that man. I've let anger dictate my moves and I've sat with the aftermath wondering, man, this would have went completely different had I just kept my cool and not took that personal. Because I didn't understand then what I understand now. I didn't understand that being cool isn't a weakness, it's wisdom. Walking away isn't losing, it's leveling up. That protecting your sanity is more powerful than proving you were right. And that's a lesson you can't learn until you've lost something valuable because you couldn't control yourself. Until you've sabotaged your own success because you couldn't regulate your emotions and lost opportunity after opportunity, you're going to get tired of being tired. Transition isn't a setback, it's God's way of saying you're not ready, you're close, but there's still something inside of you that needs to change before I can trust you with what I got for you next. And if you fight that transition, if you resist the pressure, if you refuse to evolve, you will stay stuck. You will keep repeating the same mistakes and cycles, the same exact patterns. But if you lean into it and accept that growth is going to be uncomfortable, that pressure is absolutely necessary, that repetition builds mastery, you start to change, not overnight, but gradually at each level, phase by phase. And one day you wake up and realize you're not the same man you were a year ago. Things that used to trigger you don't trigger you anymore. People who used to piss you off and get under your skin, they don't have that power over you anymore. Situations that used to make you react emotionally, you can now observe maturely and move past them without losing yourself. That's evolution. That's what it means to advance, not getting more, but by becoming more, becoming someone who can handle what's going on in the moment because you've handled what was and passed these various tests. Character has to catch up to your ambition. That's the part nobody talks about. You can want success all you want. You can work all you want to. You can grind all you want to, hustle as hard as you want to. But if your character can't support what you're trying to build, it's going to collapse. It's all for nothing the moment you get it. I've seen men get everything they wanted and lose it all because they weren't ready internally. They got the money, but didn't have the discipline to keep it. They got the woman, but didn't have the maturity to treat her right. They got the opportunity, but didn't have the emotional control to handle the pressure that came with it. Because greatness isn't just about what you achieve, it's about who you become in the process of achieving it. And if you rush the process, if you skip the internal work, if you avoid the transition, you might get the result, but you won't be able to hold it or keep it. That's why you can't rush it. That's why shortcuts don't work. That's why you got to respect the process even when it feels slow. Because what's being built in you during that waiting period, it's way more valuable than what you're actually waiting on. Patience isn't passive, it's active trust. It's doing the work while you wait. It's staying disciplined when you don't see the results yet. It's regulating when your emotions, when everything feels like it's falling apart. It's believing you being prepared for something even when it hasn't manifested yet. And the men who make it, the ones who actually build something that lasts, they're not the most talented. They're not the smartest. They're not the ones who had the most advantages over you. They're simply the ones who didn't quit. The ones who kept showing up when nobody was watching. The ones who stayed in the fight when they didn't even know if things were going to work out. Because quitting is the only real failure. Everything else is information and feedback. That information and feedback is making you into the man you need to be in order to carry the things that you're asking for. So if you're in a season where nothing's moving the way you want it to move, don't quit. Don't let frustration make you do something stupid. You're transitioning, you're learning lessons that you're going to need later. And the pressure you're feeling right now is building the capacity you'll need for what's next. Respect the process, stay regulated, keep moving, and understand that greatness doesn't come fast. It comes when you're ready, and you're not ready until you've been through enough to appreciate it, protect it, and sustain it. The advancing man doesn't rush the process, he respects it. On that note, do me a solid by clicking the Buy Me a Coffee link in the description. We appreciate you supporting the Benrich mindset. On that note, we're going to end it the same way we always do. All gas, no brakes. Lock in. Peace.